We understand that China wants also to create a difference between US and EU.
I don't look at it that way. I mean, France, for example, had its own strategic autonomy since very early days. When you think about General Charles de Gaulle, decided almost single-handedly to recognize People's Republic as the only government of China. That was a bold decision, and that was at the height of the Cold War. And that was a French decision, of course. We're not trying to really drive a wedge between the US and EU. There are differences which we readily recognize between the two sides, which we respect, and we want to be strong partners with all countries.
When Ursula von der Leyen speaks in that clip,
the world cannot absorb China's surplus production. Therefore, I have encouraged the Chinese government to address these structural overcapacities.
When I was a correspondent in Washington, the first story that I was covering was when President Obama gave billions of dollars of subsidies to Solyndra, a California-based solar company, if you remember that episode. So I think it's a myth that China is accused of producing overcapacity because Germany exports some 80% of its cars, and it didn't get accused.
France just closed its last France just closed its last solar panel making factory, and the boss of the company said, "We just can't compete. They're selling below market rate, and we cannot compete."
It's because China can produce it faster, cheaper, and
they're flooding it.
We have a fair number of Volkswagen cars on the Chinese street, and there's a good amount of Microsoft computers, laptops, and China didn't complain that.
It's not a fair fight because of the fact that countries spy on each other. That's what it's always happened. But it's not a fair fight because it's not the same value system. We're more open than they are in China and other authoritarian countries.
Also, I used to live in the United States for 8 years, which claims itself as the freest country in the world, the leader of the free world. But guess what? Edward Snowden and all those PRISM schemes and all those schemes that spied on the likes of Angela Merkel, the great leader of Germany and Europe for many years, her personal cell phones, and of course, countless programs on Tsinghua University, China Telecom, which are both civilian, educational, and corporate institutions.